What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Perfect Storm on Chain of Ascension. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Chain of Ascension is the map where we aid Zagara as she fights Amon's champion. To support her, each player needs to stand a guy near and push her along the track to the southeast corner. If we push the fight all the way there, we win. But if Amon's forces support their champion and push them all the way to our corner, we lose. Storm clouds move across the map. They damage and slow your dudes. Twisters roam and throw your dudes around. Your vision is reduced significantly.
We have Twotuuu in the call with us today. How are you, Twotuuu?
Great.
Yeah, that's good.
Great. This will be easy.
This is the day before my endoscopy, so this is probably my last chance to record anything for a while. Maybe a day. I hope a day. I hope nothing goes wrong. Anyway, how do we rank the commanders this week?
So the two environmental mutators are going to be annoying. Shortsighted is actually only really a problem when you push and when you're fighting hybrid. Otherwise, in the middle, Jannar gives a lot of vision. So if you're pushing with Jannar, you can see quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
But it's still a bit annoying. So it's mainly commanders who can deal with the mutation without being affected too much by the two weather mutators.
For me, I added the Shortsighted in here because it can get annoying for some ranged commanders, especially those that don't have heroes. But anyway, let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
So for Abathur, the luring is not... It's like half bad because you can see Zagara, but then you can't see after. And if you're too slow with the luring, the blizzards will come in and they'll kill all the toxic nests. That means you have to just leave it to the ramp. And that may take you a while before you can get enough units. So that's not good. Fortunately, the 7-minute wave will give a lot of biomass because they're really strong. So you can at least have a Brutalisk or 3 before the 9-minute wave. But it's going to be harder to spawn camp the hybrid with toxic nests because of the blizzards. I put Abathur in B.
I also put Abathur in B. I thought he was fine for both mutators except the very start. And also, that's true what you said, that you can just kind of get biomass in the 7-minute wave. However, if it's air, he might have a little more trouble, especially if you can't get a fast Brutalisk early on, or 2 or 3. But yeah, I agree with B. Prestige-wise, I think you want no prestige or the second one, as usual. Right?
You're probably better off using air units, so 0 is probably better.
So no prestige is better. Alright, that's fair. Let's move on. I put Alarak also in B because I think his large bulky air fleet, or if you can add Wrathwalkers and Supplicants, yes, you can keep them together, but the short-sighted, the Twister tends to throw them around. Short-sighted is not that big of a deal, especially since you have Alarak pushing, but when it comes time to moving your entire army, it can get a little bulky, I think. That's why it's only B for me.
Yeah, I put him in B because his army is really big. You pretty much need to have an army, and the good thing is if you get caught in a blizzard, you can teleport out. But moving around blizzards is gonna be hard, especially since you also have to like keep up with macro if you want to like maintain production of your units with your gateways and stuff. So yeah, I put him in B. He has to actually navigate around the blizzards.
Yeah. Add to that, the blizzards move in the same direction as where you want to push Zagara. Kind of. It's almost the same direction. So when you get caught in the blizzard and you're pushing Zagara, you're kind of just stuck there, which is super annoying. But anyway, yeah, we both agree. Alarak has, well, do you want any other prestige here other than Shadow of Death?
No.
Not really. Alright, let's move on. Arcturus, where do you have him?
So for Manx with P1, you can put all your ESOs in safe areas and you can destroy most of the map, whether it's with regular ESO attacks or with Contaminated Strike. So with enough ESOs, you can probably just keep making them until about like 160-ish supply, then get like a few Pride of August grad to push, and then the rest will be like bunkers or troopers to finish off things that you miss. I put Manx in A.
I put Arcturus in B because the Earth Splitters can only usually delete ground units, and when you get something like Zerg, the Vipers will be really annoying to deal with, especially with Short-Sighted. Diamondbacks will be super annoying to deal with, especially when you miss some, and they're just out of screen, and they just kind of kite your stuff to this goes as well for Cyclones. And the Blizzards will kind of shred your bio. I guess the Pride of August will kind of help a bit, but anything else, even the bunkers, I think, aren't that strongly resistant to Blizzard. Although they are resistant, they're completely immune to Twister. So that's good. I think they're still fine against Shortsighted. That's why I put them in B. But what do you think?
You don't have to put anything in the middle because like your whole army is basically one Pride of Augustgrad. Because if you're fighting air units, then you can have like bunkers. You can let them get to your base if they haven't been killed by gas already. And with P1, you can contaminated strike over and over. And you can even contaminated strike them when they have reached you. Unlike the previous Chain of Ascension mutation, there's no laser and there's no long range. So they can't actually hit you like from further than usual.
Yes.
So it's a little easier. And you don't have to you don't expand until you drop like a Dogs of War or something to make sure the Diamondbacks are dead. So you're actually just, once you have like 20 ESOs, you just gas everything. Even you don't fight the Vipers head on. You don't have a bio army in the middle because dangerous. You have a better way to deal with them.
So you just use Price of Augustgrad to deal with the Vipers as well?
No. You use gas.
Oh, you just gas them. Go over and over.
You gas everything.
How much gas do you need? How many gas attacks do you need to destroy a Viper?
I don't know.
It's like 100 damage, right?
Until they're no longer there.
Oh my goodness. All right, that's fair. All right. So with the first Prestige, he's A tier?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's put him in A for now. We'll see later on. Artanis, I had him in B. He's just barely above C because at least he has Zealots to give vision against Shortsighted. So that is something he has. He can go Mass Dragoon and Zealots, or High Templar and Zealots, or even Tempest and Zealots if you really want to. But that's one of the tiers taken care of. The Blizzards and Twister will be annoying, but that's as far as it gets annoying. So I think he's B.
For this one, I use Phoenix, Tempest, and Zealots, and you just basically, because Artanis is able to teleport units right into battle, you don't really have to look away from the army.
That's true.
So you can always keep an eye on your army. That makes it a little easier. You do have to use your cooldowns wisely, especially if there are Vipers and stuff gonna pull your things away. You'll drop like Unbound Fanatics in the center to clear whatever is there before you like commit to your push. You can also shield overcharge before pushing. I put Artanis in B as well.
How do you chase down the Diamondbacks in the expansion?
I haven't tried that.
It's super annoying. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think he's still B regardless.
Fast expanding is I used fast you can fast expand at like 15 supply before first pylon if you just drop your Archon dudes and then attack. But then if they're Diamondbacks, you might not be able to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking about Diamondbacks, but okay, that's fair enough. I guess we'll find out what you do against Diamondbacks. We agree with B, so let's put in B. Prestige-wise, you want Archon dudes, so it's Archship Commandant all the way. Let's move on. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka is mainly going to be, well, you can do Creeper Hosts, and it's kind of like Creeper Hosts will kill everything up to the middle base. And then for the last area, you'll probably just use like pack leaders and clear the rest. So after you clear the middle, it's probably a good idea to transition to Mutalisks. And yeah, so for the first like 15, 20 minutes, up to the third set of hybrid, that's 23 minutes. So it's like the first 20 minutes or so, you can just rely on Creeper Hosts and pack leaders and Dehaka to kill pretty much everything. Yeah, and so I put him in A.
I also put him in A. I don't think he has trouble here generally, except when he's chasing down. I guess he can still devour Diamondbacks and leap to them to kind of close the distance, so it's less of an issue. And Vipers are psionic units, so he'll just eat them. And I guess the annoying parts are microing your units around the Blizzard and the Twister, especially when you're rallying them from your base. But, you know, even without this, he's still fine. He has pack leaders. And even without the reinforce, his units are strong once you get a decent number of them. So I agree with A. Prestige-wise, you want the second one, right? Primal Contender?
Second one.
Yeah. Phoenix is B for me. He's fine against Shortsighted because Kaldi Waldi. But the reinforce will be pretty annoying, especially if you have your shell farm near your base, because there will be blizzards across your path. It will add time, but I don't think it adds a lot of difficulty per se, because when the side attacks come to your base, you can still have your Phoenix suits to clear them out. But yes, I do think he will have a bit of an annoyance against the environmental mutators like Shortsighted and Blizzard. That's why he's only B for me.
So, unlike Alarak, Phoenix has more than one usable prestige, so you don't have to use P2. I think it's better to use P1 mass carriers for this one.
Mass carrier.
And yeah, so you just mass carriers, and with the Arbiter suit, you pretty much always have energy. You don't want to F2 though. So or you just F2 and then like, or you have an army, you put them on one control key or something while you make new carriers, and then when you make new carriers and add them to the main army, then you add them to your new group. You can still use other champions, like I would still use Caudalis because you'll have a lot of minerals,
Vision.
but mostly it's gonna be carriers, and if you're in trouble, you just teleport back to your natural or something. With that though, I still put Phoenix in B.
Yeah. He's not. It's not a lot more difficult, but it's difficult enough that he's not A for me. But yeah, we both agree with B. You want to use the first one here, Akondollar? I don't oppose that. I like using different prestiges. Let's move on. Han and Horner, where do you have him?
Han and Horner, P2. Strike fighters will help weaken a lot of the areas, a lot of the bases. So that's one good thing. And then you're pretty much gonna use like an air fleet, and if you're in trouble, you teleport back to your natural.
Yeah, the teleport is essential.
Pretty much it. Alternatively, you can use P3 and strike fighter everything, but then you'll still need some air units to clear whatever is not dead.
Need anti-air.
So and also good for pushing. You'll need fewer air units, but you can still do that. So I put Han, Horner, in B.
I was afraid for a moment that you put him in A. Yeah, I also put Han and Horner in B. They're fine, but not great. So that what Twotuuu said generally is what I would say anyway. I agree with everything. For the anti-air, I would just use probably the carrier galleons and a couple of wraiths, maybe a battlecruiser or two, and I'll probably, if not the air units or the air strikers, I will use the hellbutts for vision. I'll make a few of them at a time, and just have some replacements ready to go. And they'll use a combination of Hellions and Reapers. But yes, I agree with B. Prestige-wise, I probably would use the first one still, since I like the fast deploying mag mines. But I don't have a problem with the second one here. So there we go. Han and Horner B. Karax, I actually have Karax in A. I had a pretty easy time here, because when your Zealots get vision, Spear of Rune is not affected at all by any of the mutators. And the carriers work pretty well. So even though they get damaged by the blizzard and they get damaged by the enemies, they will still get the repair drones to heal them up. That's why they're actually A for me.
I put Karax in A because it's like Phoenix but better, since you get to heal, you get the repair beam, plus you get the Spear of Adun, and your carriers are cheaper. And with P2 you can use Chrono Boost to get them out even faster. So it's just better than Phoenix all around. Just better. And Phoenix has a suit or something to like to go to deal with attack waves. Karax just uses a solar lance and then they're all gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
So yeah, I put Karax in A.
All right, Kerrigan. I'm actually thinking of putting Kerrigan in S, although I'm not opposed at all to A, because I like her ability to just control the map with Omega Worms for omnipresence, and Kerrigan can leap all around, and to deal with air, she could just do the stun thing with the second prestige. Or if you want a powerful immobilization wave, you can use no prestige or a third prestige to be really good against, to be really good with your immobilization wave. I'm kind of thinking of what her weaknesses would be, but I think she's pretty awesome to use here because the Omega Worms just give you a lot of vision, and you can still make Zerglings, you can make Dude Lords, and if you get stuck somewhere, you can just deploy an Omega Worm, hide inside until the blizzard passes, deploy elsewhere. It's good. I have her in S, but again, not supposed to A.
I don't think she's S, just because if before you can get Omega Worms in an area, you can't really see what twisters are there, and if you slide into twisters, sometimes you get slapped around. Then you get slapped into a blizzard, and then there are enemies that aren't affected by the slow, and they can just eat you up. Sometimes that happens. If you're using, I would use Ultralisks because they can enter the worms. But if you want to use an air army, like you just have to navigate them just like the other ones. So I don't recommend an air army, because that's kind of, then you're going to like B territory, because that's what the B commanders are doing. They're just using air armies and navigating around blizzards, where Kerrigan doesn't really have to do that. I put Kerrigan in A.
All right, turns out we agree then. What prestige do you recommend?
I would say 2 or 0.
Yeah, second one's really good, so you can just chain stun and an air army until they're gone. Nova, where do you have them?
Nova, you can use P3 and then you do pretty much all the work. And then you just like for hybrid fights, you bring in your liberators when the weather is good, drop a defense drone and kill them. So I'm leaning. Oh yeah, Nova gives vision to the liberators. So because with P3, so I'm gonna put her in S.
Oh, that's very different. I actually had her in B because I figured her army would have a bit of trouble maneuvering around, and when they get caught, it's kind of hard to heal up because she doesn't have infinite Raven healing. S is pretty high. I guess it makes sense if you can just do most of the work with Nova herself. She can just, if you're controlling one unit, it's a lot easier to dodge. And when you're just clearing with the, I guess, sabotage drones and airstrikes, or yeah, Griffin airstrikes.
Sabotage drone, airstrike, nuke. All 3 of them will kill whatever's in the way. For you pretty much don't have to go very far from a safe zone for the first, second, and third hybrids. The last one, you just airlift your liberators and then kill them. Once all the regular units are gone, you airlift your liberators and your whole army, kill the hybrid, and then that's it.
That actually does sound compelling. I didn't think of just spamming Nova's abilities. I didn't think they were that spammable at P3. I probably should use that more. But okay, that sounds convincing enough. I'm gonna put her in S also. Prestige, you want to use the third one here? I don't see it being quite as effective when you use the first Prestige. I'm kind of used to that at this point, but yeah, I can see that. Okay, Raynor for wait, Raynor, where do you have him?
So for Raynor, P3 is the best choice. People say scan counters short-sighted. It does not. It costs money every time you
270
use it.
minerals. It's expensive.
So in the late games for this one, you can't really spam vultures. So in the late game, you don't really need so many minerals. Then your orbitals can be used as scans. That's okay. But the early game, when you're trying to survive and stuff, every time you scan, your econ is like not improving. And the early game for Chain of Ascension in general or Raynor is very specific. The call down usage has to be like, you have to be on point with the call down usage, and if the enemy's not favorable, you're gonna be in a bit of trouble, especially the 7-minute wave.
Yep.
So I put Raynor in C because his start is really slow. He has nothing until like 10 minutes when you start getting your battle cruisers. You might have a few banshees before that.
I actually agree. I also had Raynor in C. The fact of the matter is, scans cost 270 minerals because that's the opportunity cost of a mule. You get 270 with a mule. And if you use a scan instead, that's down the drain. And it only lasts 10 seconds, so you need to scan again. That's another 270 gone. 3 scans, that's so much money, like 810 or something? 810 minerals. So expensive. 1,000, almost 1,000 minerals for 3 scans. And the army itself is not very maneuverable. It's like a B commander, but worse, because they don't have shields, and it costs money to repair. Money that you desperately need to make more battlecruisers. The good news is, with the third prestige, most of your pushing power comes from the Hyperion. And the battlecruisers are mostly just there to finish off buildings, hybrid, and that stuff that are not that threatening anymore. But yeah, I agree with C. Prestige-wise, you want the third one, right? Rebel Raider?
Third one.
Alright. Statboy for me is actually A. I would have put him in S, but the Statlights get destroyed by the blizzards. The Zergs are completely fine for giving vision, and so are the Ultralisks. And Gary is, of course, just fine with anything, as long as he's in the Stat zone, which he can't keep alive by just activating the overcharge. But yes, since the non-overcharge Statlights get deleted or get disabled, at least, he's only A for me. What do you think?
For me, he's like Kerrigan, but better because his unit has more than twice her HP, or is it twice with the upgrade?
2,000.
But still, and he flies. So that, and he has a green zone on him, so he's like healing all the time and stuff. His units aren't very good, but you pretty much just use them to clean up. Super Gary will be destroying the bases mostly by himself. You just E-Gorb in a direction, and the things will die. They don't even attack you while you're doing that. They might attack you, but then if Janara's nearby, you can just move back and continue the fight. I put Stetmann in A.
Okay, I was figured you put him in S also, but okay, A is unanimous. We want the second prestige, right? It's the only one.
Yes.
It's the obvious choice. Stukov, where do you have him?
Stukov he has to go around the blizzards, and he doesn't have an air army that does that. So you're doing that with Diamondbacks. But when you're pushing, you probably want to push when you have an Alexander, plus you have tanks. So you want tanks to like throw an volatile infested from afar while your Alexander and your Diamondbacks are doing the attacks and stuff. It's not great. You can have queens. So if you use queens, you probably leave them at the natural so that so that they don't die, and you can't have two. I put Stukov in B.
Actually, I have Stukov in A because he has lots of stuff that give vision. The queen, of course, gives vision. The Alexander steals normal vision from the enemy air units, and the infest structure spawns doodlings that also give vision, so that your diamonds can freely kite around. I actually have him in A. Don't you think he's worthy of A? I know he has to dodge blizzard stuff, but with Diamondbacks, you can shoot while dodging, so it's not that impactful. Then again, I guess the downside is that a Diamondback army is kind of large, so you will inevitably run into blizzards and twisters. Is that what you're thinking?
So every time you hit a twister, you get bounced in different directions.
That's true.
And then you might get hit into a blizzard, you might not. And Diamondbacks, I hate how slow they regen. Reinforcing his army of Diamondbacks is also annoying because you have to like navigate through a blizzard to get them from the main to the natural, unless you build your factories at the natural, which means that you either have to move your factory or you didn't build anything until like mid game or like after you expand,
something like that.
So yeah,
I guess
I don't think he's that great.
I guess I'm fine with B as well. Now that I remember, he definitely also has trouble clearing the Diamondbacks in the main. That's even with full vision. with short-sighted, it's doubly annoying. Okay, I'm fine with B, but I'm also, if someone said A, I definitely don't disagree. Swann for me is A because he has laser drill, like 3 concentrated beams clear the entire front, and all I have to do is fly a factor or 2 around and just clear the enemies that spawn the sides and the hybrids. You can go for rates as long as you're pretty good with micro. If not, you can always go for Hercules and tanks. They teleport, they shoot, and I guess as long as you have something giving vision, they're fine. But vision is the issue with Swann. But if you have factories in front, that counts as vision, so it's pretty good still. So I have him in A.
I don't think the factory strat is that good when there are blizzards are really slow. So you either have to push them a lot earlier, or because if you try to move them later and they're trying to get through blizzards, they're really slow.
Oh yeah, very slow.
And I don't think they're good for vision. You pretty much have to use rates because everything else is bad. You can Herc tank, I suppose, but you don't really see what the enemies. You can't really see the enemies. You do have a pulse cannon for like every hybrid wave, but only if you like time them well. So yeah, 4 concentrated beams will clear the middle. So I put him at like top of B, but his army is not that great.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Because it's just rates.
I mostly put him in A because of the laser drill. The concentrated beam is so good, and the pulse cannon clears the hybrids.
Concentrated beam makes him very good, but then like the issue is that you don't really get to see, like, it's not realistic to put factories and just drill the hybrids to death. It's really slow. So yeah, they might, depending which hybrid they are, they might actually just destroy all your factories. Because if you're making like 10 factories, that's a lot of rates that you're not making.
I guess that's true. If you're making too many factories. But again, if you like make like a couple of Hercs and just teleport them for vision for the pulse cannon, wouldn't that be sufficient?
Yeah. That's good to clear the enemies if you know like the exact spots where to pulse cannon, and you have to be very fast too, because if you teleport and you're not fast enough, like especially if you use a mouse to click the pulse cannon instead of a hotkey, then your Herc might die before you get to click there. So you have to like send another one.
Enemies aren't stronger. They're
not stronger, but if the only unit going in is a Herc, it's gonna get ganged up on.
Send 2 of them.
Yeah, and you also have to like go to this. You also have to aim for the center, because if you miss a little, there will be some dudes left. It covers a big range, but if you miss because you're not exactly sure, you're either gonna need multiple Hercs or you're gonna miss the pulse cannon. So I do think he's really good for clearing the center, but that's it. Oh, and static defense at the main and the naturals will be fine.
Pulse cannon is also really good.
His army's not very good.
His army's only the really thing holding him back, but his top bars are great for this map. Pulse cannon for the hybrids, concentrate B for the map, pretty good. But okay, if you insist on B, I guess I'll put him in B.
I guess bottom A can also be okay.
I'm also okay with bottom of A, top of B. He's kind of like in that center.
Bottom of A.
Yeah. He's like in
Bottom
that in
A.
between, like he's like A minus or B plus, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just decide later on where he fits the most. I'm okay with either. Tychus is S, just does normal stuff, just dodges. What do you think? Oh wait, that was your commander, right? Sorry.
I didn't put him in S because
Really?
Tychus hates short-sighted. Like,
Oh, that's true.
So,
That's annoying. That's
like
true.
when you're defending waves, they come to you, so that's fine. You have vision at your ramp or at a Janara, that's fine. But when you're going in, you don't have vision, so you have to navigate through blizzards. You can use an Odin nuke, I suppose, but you also need help in the for the later one. And so you can, like, for the third one, you nuke everything, yeah, but you still have 6 hybrids to fight, and you can't really see them. Like, your Odin can tank, but you need to be, like, you need to be on top of things. Like, you might need Sam nearby, or Sam and Sirius to help out and finish them off. Or you can use, like, just P0.
Yeah, you can use no prestige and have some, like, Blaze or, what's his name, Cannonball in front.
Yeah, this one is easier than the one with the laser drill, because laser drill with short-sighted and long range is terrible. But this one, it's just a bunch of environmental mutators. I put Tychus in A.
Okay, not
So
unanimous.
he's still good.
Not unanimous, therefore not S. I'm okay with A. A's not bad. Vorazun. Oh, where do you have him?
I put her in B because it's just, I use Void Race, and it's the air army flying around blizzards, same as the other ones, and then you time stop to attack the hybrids.
I actually have her in A. I would still use Dark Templar and just do the Shadow Fury then blink back strategy that Stixbender really likes promoting. Just spam Shadow Fury in a spot, then blink back to keep your Dark Templar alive. And you don't have to rush to get them across. Or you can send your Shadow Guard forward because they are temporary units anyway, and then have the rest of your Dark Templar come in. But I guess, in the grand scheme of things, when I look at the rest of commanders, she does lean more on the army themselves, but then again, Time Stop is so good. You can basically skip the last hybrid if you do it right. That's kind of what puts her in A for me. Aside from, all the crowd control stuff. Like when you have a big group of hybrid, you just black hole them and then just whack them with Shadow Fury. I still think Shadow Guard or Dark Templar are better than Void Race, despite the fact that they walk around. They still have blink. If they get caught in a blizzard, they can just blink out of it, as long as there's another Dark Templar in front to give them vision, or a Dark Templar behind, so they can retreat, right?
Yeah, time stop does not disable the twisters. So if you time stop and you walk into a twister, you're wasting time.
Really? The twister supports Janara or Amon's champion?
No. No, not that. Like when you time stop, if your Dark Templar try to attack, but because of short-sighted you can't see, you might run into a blizzard.
Oh, the blizzard.
Or like a twister. The twister, not the blizzard, the twister.
The twister still throws you around even in time stop.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So it's like, and you can't see it because
if it's on the high ground,
because of short-sighted, right? And it's high ground, so you can't really see it. So you just have to go in and hopefully you kill most of the things, and then like the rest of your army finishes them off. With lots of Dark Templar, you're gonna crowd each other too. So
that's true.
Yeah,
I was kind of counting
someone's bound to get hit by a twister.
I was counting on the Dark Templar being small enough in size that you can pack more of them in an area compared to, let's say, Dragoons or Diamondbacks. Still not? Okay, fine. Let's put it in B then. I still think Vorazun's A, but you probably know more than I do. Let's put it in B. Vorazun's 1 prestige. Keeper of Shadows. Let's move on. Zagara, where do you have him?
Zagara, hero unit alone can deal quite a lot. And Zagara can use bio launchers for the 1st and 3rd hybrids. So you can clear a lot of stuff for a very low cost.
Depending on where you spawn, of course.
No, you can just bring overlords and drop creep if you just build it like behind the mineral line. So for first strike, the enemies have long range, so they'll see your stuff and they'll attack it. But for this one, they don't, so they won't necessarily attack you. So that's a good thing. Yeah, and later on, it's basically Zagara plus herself and reinforcements. I would destroy the Baneling nest after you expand and then build it again at the natural.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Like when you are like preparing for a big push, then you like carefully escort your banelings through the bad weather and run them into things. But for the most part, it's just herself. And so it's Zagara P3 with her cooldowns. Oh no, her top bars and stuff. Not top bars, the abilities. I put her in B.
Yeah, I also put her in B. Just basically what you said, minus the battle launchers because I'm too noob to use battle launchers. I'll just run guys in and eventually power through. So yeah, B. You want the third one, right? The Apex Predator?
Yes.
Alright, Zeratul's S because he blinks, he teleports, he has the Void Eye, he has Cannons which are immune to Twister. He can just spawn more, he can demote enemies, he can, do a lot of amazing stuff. He's S.
Yeah, it's basically he has static defense that ignores the environmental mutators, but you can summon them on the field whenever you want.
Make them static offense.
I put him in S.
Yeah, pretty much a
you
no-brainer.
can use them for offense, yeah.
Alright, so do we have a double S?
No.
Okay, top of S is Zeratul, right? Easily.
Yes.
And then Nova. So Swann is bottom of A or top of B. So who's top of A?
Top of A, Stetmann.
That boy? Okay. And then Kerrigan?
Kerrigan.
Then I'm almost tempted to say Karax because your Spear of Venus is really good.
Yes, I was thinking that. It's simpler than the other ones.
Just to be clear, guys.
Carriers.
Just to be clear, guys, we're recommending the second prestige, Templar Apparent, so you can make cheap units. And then Dehaka? Actually, isn't Dehaka better than Karax here? Or is the short-sighted too annoying for the Haka person?
The problem with Dehaka is the last set, because you need to get an army there. You either have to escort your creeper host there, or you need a Mutalisk army.
Alright, so Dehaka after
So it's
Karax?
a little bit annoying.
Dehaka after Karax?
I'm tempted to put Menx before, because Menx can stay at home and do pretty much everything.
He can fight
home.
he can contaminate strike from home. The last hybrid.
Last set, and you can like contaminate and then use your 100 mandate, because you generate so much mandate before the contaminate strike runs out. You get back to 100.
Wow. How many Earth Splitters do you
Release Berserk
to do that?
I don't know. It's a lot, but
it's a lot. Are most of it in your main base or in your expansion?
Actually, most of them are in natural and the other natural.
Okay, assuming your ally lets you build all your Earth Splitters in his expansion. He's that. Okay. Assuming your ally lets you do
19.
that. 19. Oh my goodness. That's like
and
76 supply.
The mandate counter was at like 300 something.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I guess I kind of still like Dehaka even after that because Packeters ignore Shortsighted if I remember. That's so good in a mutator like this.
Isn't that Afraid of the Dark?
Don't they also ignore Shortsighted? I know they ignore Afraid of the Dark, but I thought they also ignore Shortsighted, don't they?
I don't remember.
Oh well, I guess we'll find out. Someone will comment down below. Comment down below whether the Packeters do or don't ignore Shortsighted. Okay, well, let's assume they don't for now. If that's the case, then Arcturus... Yeah, I guess I can see Arcturus.
Then Dehaka, then Tychus.
Then Tychus.
Then Swann.
Well, when you do no prestigious Tychus and you have like someone like Cannonball or Blaze in front, wouldn't that alleviate most of the vision problem?
Kind of.
I say that puts him at least above... probably not easier than the Earth Splitters. Probably easier than Dehaka.
Above Dehaka.
Yeah?
I guess. You don't have to army switch later on.
Yeah. I guess it's simpler and conceptually. And then there's the middle guy, or the guy in between. Swann is either top of A, bottom of... Or top of B or bottom of A. And then who's next in B? They're
all so similar, except Vorazun. Vorazun has a good top bar.
Yeah, time stop. So she's clearly the top or top bar.
Zagara's the bottom.
Zagara's the bottom.
Yeah.
Not
Zagara's
Artanis.
bottom of
not Artanis.
The rest of these are not Artanis. No.
Not Artanis. I think
Artanis can like maintain a pretty big death ball, whereas Zagara reinforcing is a pain. Trying to gather a big enough army.
I think
when there's so many
Abathur's
blizzards and twisters.
I think Abathur's early game might be painful enough to put him like in the lower half of B. Especially if it's like against Terran and blizzards get to your toxic nests.
Yeah, that's really hard, actually. Really annoying, at least.
So who is Abathur better than? Is he better than Han and Horner? I don't know.
I'm trying to think, like, because I play Abathur a lot, so I don't think it was that hard. But then, like, if you're not sure, and if it's against like Terran or something, it might be a lot harder.
Terran Air. Think about that.
Terran Air and stuff too. You will definitely need like.
If you have Magma as Han and Horner, it doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter. what the enemy comp is if you have Magmines, Han and Horner.
For the early game, I guess.
Yeah. Late games, Space Station it.
Space Station. I think Abathur can be next to Zagara.
Next to Zagara.
Stukov.
You think Stukov is the third worst in B? Actually, I actually still think he's pretty good, especially with the vision. The vision does directly help the ally.
I don't think the vision. I mean, I don't think the vision is good enough, especially since you're most likely, if you're, the only time you really need it is when you're pushing the middle. And that's when you're with an Alexander, which already gives you vision.
Well, not just Alexander.
So whenever you're pushing, you have an Alexander with you, whether it's the hybrid or the middle.
I mean, the Brood Queen.
So
the Brood Queen, you can buff your allies.
I know, yeah, you have the Brood Queen, but it's
really good.
Yeah, it's good, but that doesn't make him like great.
I know. That's what we're debating whether he's better than Han and Horner or not. Like that's the lower.
I don't think. I think Han Horner is better.
Still better? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so we have Artanis, Alarak, and Fenix, kind of in that second, third, fourth of B.
Yeah.
So who do you have better among them? I guess it depends on what you like.
Phoenix is better.
Phoenix is better?
Phoenix is better.
Oh yeah, I guess because he has that Phoenix suit. Pretty good.
Then
Alarak?
So the difference between Alarak and Artanis is like Alarak macro requires you, unless you're only massing destroyers, which aren't really strong. Unless you're only using them, you're gonna need to like look back and stuff. And that might not be very ideal. Like that might be a bit of trouble. Whereas Artanis, once your macro's ready, like once you're fully saturated and stuff, you just only look at his army, so you can focus solely on his army. But his army isn't that good.
That's true.
You can focus all your attention on it, and it's still not that good.
It does have Archon dudes, though.
Yeah, I would say Alarak is still better.
Okay, so we have Vorazun, Fenix, Alarak, Artanis, Han and Horner, Stukov, Abathur, Zagara in that order.
Yes.
And then Raynor is C. Again, guys, C is fine. Like, C is passing, but, you know, not great. Alright, guys, that's gonna be it for this week. Watch Twotuu's channel, and we'll link it down below. We'll see you guys next time.